And we have liftoff. If you're following a little bit of silliness in the chat room, the book of John, the diamond mine of the New Testament. And I know a lot of you don't care a whole lot about the New Testament. And that's all right, because even if you don't like the Bible, even if you don't like the New Testament, ladies and gentlemen, the storehouse of wisdom, the storehouse of diamonds. In fact, there's more diamonds in the book of John than in the entirety of the rest of the other 65 books. And isn't it interesting that there's 66 books in the Bible? And as Derek said last night, God's always been so in love with the number 66, right? But anyway, the book of John shouldn't even be in the Bible. And the book of John was almost not in the Bible because they knew it was encoded. They knew it had a lot of messages, and they knew that they didn't want people to know what was written in this book. And there's other reasons too that we'll get into. But the book of John really isn't a biblical book. The book of John is really not part of the New Testament. It's really not. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's a completely different thing. And let me just show you graphically. And I know I've fallen in love with this. Whiteboard, but this will really help you understand why John is so unusual. So if we talk from the year 0 AD to the year 100 AD, that's, basically the timeline of the New Testament from 0 to 100 AD. The New Testament was written, the apostles of Jesus, the Lord, the Master, I just say the Master, the apostles of the Master wrote from about 0 AD to 40 AD. To 40 AD. So from 0 to about 40, that's when, no, that's not right. I'm sorry. It was from 0 to 60. John wrote 40 years after they did. So let me amend that. From 0 to about, let's say 60, the apostles wrote. From 0 to 60 AD, the apostles wrote. The people that actually walked with the Christ, right? And Paul wrote a little bit longer, but let's just say about 60 AD. From 0 to 60 AD is where 25 books of the New Testament were written, from 0 to 60 AD. But John didn't finish writing till about 100 AD. And why is that so important? Why is that so significant? If you look at it, you've got this just strange, this unusual 40-year gap. This 40-year gap from the time that the apostles were finished writing, from the time that Paul was finished writing. It's a 40-year gap, 40 years. 40 years, nothing was said. 40 years, there was no revelation in the New Testament. Do you remember 40 years of Moses supposedly wandering in the desert? And what did he come with after he got out of the desert for 40 years? He came with a message of deliverance, didn't he? And then you remember that the master was 40 days, what? In the wilderness, being tempted by the devil. And then what did he come with after those 40 days? He came with a message of deliverance. So for 60 years, we got what we got. And then after 40 years in the desert, after 40 years in the wilderness, being tempted by the devil, we got the writing of John, which really is the last will and testament of the apostolic era. It's completely and totally unique. It really isn't part of the New Testament. It really wasn't meant to be part of the New Testament. The book of John is the book that more than any other book encapsulates the message of the Master. It takes the best of all the truths of human wisdom and understanding and combines them and fashions them into a way of life that if you follow it will lead you to life more abundant and will give you peace that passes all understanding. Not peace like this world gives, but peace that passes all understanding. So John is a completely unique book written 40 years after all of the other New Testament revelation. And it looks back at the time from 0 AD to 100 AD. It encapsulates and wraps up and consolidates and gives you the most important messages that were given during the most formative period in human history, arguably. So John is very, very important. It's very, very unique, and it's very, very powerful. And somewhat of a handed segue, if you check the box below, you'll see the fluffy, the focus, life force, energy. Is it going to make you more spiritual? No, but it will create a Hawkins vibration area between 500 and 560, self-adjusting to your personal enlightenment, and could very well be the difference between you getting more spiritual. It puts you in a place that you're able to maximize your spirituality, your mental health, and even your physical health. Get these MYSTECH bands. Go to jeffreydarty.com, serpentdove.org, rawreflections.org. They'll put you in the Schumann resonance, which also gives you an optimal environment for progression. And if you want to work with Sandra and I, visit those websites, serpentdove.org, rawreflection.org, and that's interesting, Catherine, jeffreydarty.com. So let's take a look at the book of John. And remember, folks, we're not talking about the Bible. This is a book that shouldn't have been in the Bible. This is a book that transcends the Bible. This is a book that stands alone, and it is a great book of revelation. Journey Jacobs, I needed to say this today more than you could ever imagine. Thanks, Jeff. Hi, Sandra. Congrats to you too, by the way. It's super fun to watch Love Ignite. Wow. You think it's fun to watch it? I pray that you get a chance to experience it someday. And I hope that you will, if that's your desire. So let's take a look at the book of John, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at the book of John. And I'm going to break this down word by word, almost painstakingly so, because there's just so much here. You know, I say that the New Testament is about 80% dung and about 20% diamond. And I'll bet 15% of the diamonds are in the book of John. So let's look at this. And I want to show you this because it's just fabulous. In the beginning. Well, what beginning is John talking about, first of all? In the beginning. Well, anybody with any spiritual understanding, anybody with any spiritual intuition, anybody with anything remarkably, even remotely like that, your minds will immediately go to Genesis 1:1, in the beginning. So John is taking our minds back to the beginning of the beginning of our beginnings. So John is already saying to us, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the very start. Let's go back to our beginning. As he completes the last will and testament of the apostolic era, as he writes down the most important things that he learned after walking with the master for about 3 years, as he writes down the most important things that he's learned by watching the development of the message of the master and the church of the master, if you will, over nearly 100 years, he draws our mind back to the beginning. As he looks at the development of the fear and guilt control matrix of Saul of Tarsus, and has been watching that for nearly 100 years, he says to us, go back to the beginning. He says to us, go back to the start. He says to us, go back to the beginning, go back to your source. And if you're in a place today where you don't know where to go or what to do, might I suggest that you go back to the beginning, go back to the source, go back to the beginning of you. You can do that with me through analytical LIFETRACK analysis, but this isn't a commercial. And John said, go back to our beginning. And the reason he said go back to the beginning is because the most important thing for you to progress spiritually is for you to know yourself. For you to know yourself. Know thyself is what Socrates said. And the only way that you will ever move forward is to get to know yourself. And as I go back to my silly little whiteboard, I just want to show you something. Know thyself has a couple of implications. Number one, there's the obvious implication of know thyself. Know thyself, learn thyself, have knowledge of thyself. Do the inside work. Get into yourself. Get into the dark night of your soul. Get into the blackness and the darkness, as Thoth says, because that's where the issues that trip you up lie. And the secret, the key is right in this word. Because when you know thyself, you learn what part of thyself to say no to. That's pretty good, isn't it? Know thyself. Learn thyself. Learn what is divine in thyself. Learn what is sovereign in thyself. Learn what is free in thyself. And learn what is ego in thyself. If you know yourself, you'll know what to say no to in the ego. No ego. When you know yourself, you learn what to say no to, and when you know yourself, you'll be characterized by no ego. It's pretty good stuff, isn't it? That's why John said to go back to the beginning. That's why John said, go back to the beginning. That's why the beginning of the greatest truth ever revealed to humanity says, know thyself, so you can get to know ego, because ego ain't your amigo. Ego will destroy you. And ego will destroy every good thing in your life. We could stop right there and that'd be a great podcast. But in the beginning, and I'm going to show you something that should blow your mind. If this doesn't blow your mind, there's something wrong with your mind. As the fluffy orders come in, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Watch this. I want you to see this. In the beginning, you click on this and it shows you the Greek word. We've had about 1,000 new subscribers over the past couple of days, and thanks so much to Derek for that. I did spend 20 years as a full-time minister. I have a Bible college degree. I have over 100,000 hours of study within the scriptures. And I say that just so you'll know what I'm talking about and know that I didn't think about this morning. I want you to notice that in the beginning, our beginning, I want you to notice that that word is feminine. That word is feminine. In our beginning, and remember, it's the beginning in Genesis 1:1. And what is Genesis 1:1? What was the beginning in Genesis 1:1? The beginning was the creation of the earth. So the beginning that John is speaking about is the beginning of the creation of the earth, and the beginning of the beginning is feminine. That's because the earth is Sophia. The earth is a divine feminine being. Sophia came from the stellar core. She came here and became literally the earth that we walk on. So in the beginning, the very beginning was the feminine Sophia, the planet that we walk on. So in the beginning, there was our mother, just like our physical beginning. There was our mother. So in the beginning was our mother, was Sophia, which was the earth. Now watch this. If you think that's amazing, watch this. So in the beginning was our mother. We were birthed through our mother. But John says in the beginning, in the feminine beginning was the word, the logos. And watch this. What's logos? It's masculine. So in the beginning was our mother earth, and in the beginning was our father what? Speech, utterance, analogy, thought. Watch this. Logos is the expression of a thought. The beginning, the feminine, is the thought. And then the logos, the masculine, is the expression of that thought. Wow. Oops, I'm not sharing, am I? Let me share this screen. Sorry about that. I want you to see this. Share screen. Boom. Sometimes I get excited. The logos is masculine. And the logos is the expression of a thought. So the feminine is the thought. It's Mother Earth. We come from the earth. Our thoughts come from the earth. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a woman thinketh in her heart, so is she. We come from the earth. The thoughts come from our mother. And the expression of those thoughts are our Father. Our Father is our higher self. Our Father is the chi, the prana, the energy. So at the very beginning, our mother was there giving us thought. At the very beginning, our Father was there giving us expression of that thought through our mental faculties and the actual speaking forth of the words. The mother and the father were there at our beginning. The mother and father were there at our beginning. And I'm here to tell you today that the mother and father are still here. The mother and father have not left. The mother and father have not gone away. And I made a mistake some years ago, some months ago, I think, when I did a video called Gone Gods. I said that they started this thing, set us up, and left us. I'm wrong. They're still here. But they love us, so they're not intervening or interfering. They're letting us work out our own salvation. It's my channel, so yes, it's my opinion. And let me just speak something, because I need to say this as we've got a lot of new people here. Let that settle in your mind for a minute. The reason that I do what I do is because I have a divine compulsion to do it. I don't do this because I want to do it. 7 stars, you're this close to being banned. And I'm telling you why right now. So you can knock it off and be part of this, or you can keep it up and not be part of it. It's up to you. And the only reason I speak to you specifically is because you've been here a while and I have respect for you. Usually I would just get rid of it. But I'm only here because this is a divine compulsion, a divine calling. I'm only here because I have to do what I've been told to do. And I'm here to bring you a specific message from the Father, from the Mother. I'm here to bring you specific information that I'm told to bring you. And you can talk to me about it. You can discuss with me about it, but you can't detract from it. The bridge is out around the curve. And I'm trying to wave everybody down and tell them the bridge is out so they don't plunge over the precipice. And I'm not going to allow your ego and your desire to infringe your teaching into my channel to cause somebody to go over the precipice. So if you believe that you have messages to share, then please start your own channel with my blessings. I'll help you do it. But you cannot come into this channel and call attention to what you think and what you feel and what you believe, because this channel's not about what you think. It's not about what you feel. It's not about what you believe. This channel's not about your message. This channel's about the message that I've been given. I started this channel with 0 subscribers. And I went through this. Now you can talk, you can politely interject, but you can't jump this channel to try to get your message in. And if you do, you will be politely removed. And if you distract from the message, you will be politely removed. It's too important. The bridge is out. I'm waving people down. And hey, you, off my cloud. It's my cloud. And I think that that needed to be said. So I hope that we understand each other now. And I hope that you're not cross with me. But if you are, that's okay. We will still move on and be okay. So the point here is that the word, the thought, the speech is the Father. The thoughts that come to us are our mother. And I want you to look at this and consider this for just a minute, because this is powerful. Look at this in John. Let's look at chapter 14 and verse number 9. John chapter 14 and verse number 9. Watch this. Again, this isn't the Bible. This is ancient esoteric wisdom, ladies and gentlemen. John 14:9. The master said, have I been with you so long that you haven't seen me and known me? Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. Whoever has seen the master saw the Father. And then if you look at this one, whoever has seen the master has seen the Father. Remember that. Whoever has seen the master has seen the Father. And then Christ in you, the hope of glory. Whoever's seen the master has seen the Father. The master's in you. And that is your hope of glory. What does that mean, hope of glory? What does hope of glory mean? It's the hope, it's the expectation, it's the trust, it's the confidence. The master in you, the spark of divinity in you, is your hope, it is your trust, it is your confidence of what? It's your trust, it's your hope, it's your confidence, and by the way, it's feminine, of being an unspoken manifestation of God, of being a divine. It's not just a t-shirt. You are divine, you are sovereign, you are free, you are splendiferous, you are especially divine, you are full of honor, you are full of renown, you are full of glory, you are full of splendor. And this should be your personal opinion. I'm divine, I'm sovereign, I'm free. Why? Because I'm great? No, but because I have the expectation, the trust, and the confidence that what? The master is in me. And if you've seen the master, then you've seen, and I'm not sharing this, I'm not going to go back and share it now. You've seen the Father, and the master's in you. So you're the Father. The Father's in you. The mother's in you. The expectation and the confidence of your manifestation into divinity should be a reality in your life every single day. You are divine, you are sovereign, you are free. Not because I say it, not because I have a t-shirt that says it. You're divine, you're sovereign, you're free because you've got the spark of divinity in you, you've got the master in you, and the master is the same as the Father in a manifestation way. So the fact that you've got Christ in you, that's the expectation of your divine manifestation. You are divine, you are sovereign, you are free. And your mother's still here. Your father's still here. And this shows you that every time a thought comes into your mind, stay with me, and you speak it forth, what is that? That's creation. The exact kind of creation that happened at the beginning. Father gives thought. I got that wrong. Mother gives thought. Father gives the words to birth it. Is that right? In the beginning, yes, mother gives the thought. The thought comes from mother. Father gives us the words, which really gets you to the place where you understand why there's a biblical admonition to take every thought captive, to take every thought under mindful control. Why? Because every time we have a thought and we speak it forth, it creates. Derek just helped Sandra and I see this, and we had seen it before, but I'm stubborn and a blockhead. So many times there's nothing there, but you think about it, you speak it forth, and you create something. You create a tulpa, you create a spiritual entity. So you've got to learn, like when people come on this channel, and that's the last time I will ever address any of them directly. The only reason I did that is that I had respect for that person that was doing it. I won't address that anymore. I'll just get rid of it because it creates a thing when there was no thing. And it's the same thing in your life when people want to come in, and Derek talked about this last night, and say things to you, talk to the hand, just turn around and walk away because there's nothing there. And when you allow them to speak these things into existence, they're creating. They've got a thought in their head that's not from mother. It's from a mother, different kind of mother. I was going to say mother with a bad word behind it. Think about that. Your thoughts either come from mother or they come from a mother beeper. That's a little crass, but that's really good. Your thoughts, and that's how we control them. This thought comes into your mind. You've got to learn how to, you don't have to say everything that comes into your mind. Because there's two sources of things that come into your mind. The mother and the mother effer. So you got to have these thoughts come into your mind. You got to take a second. That's why you need analytical life track analysis and repair, because you don't have to do this math. But the thought comes in, boom, here's the thought. Is that from mother or is that from the mother effer? Pretty clear, pretty easy to know. If it's the mother effer, you don't say it. You don't look at, let's say that, let me think of something. Let me think of a benign example. Let's say that you're with your best friend, and your best friend has gained some weight, and you're walking behind your best friend and you realize that some of that weight has been deposited onto their gluteus maximus. And the thought comes into your mind to say, wow, I should tell him or I should tell her that their butt's getting fat. Where do you think that came from? Did that come from mother or did that come from the mother effer? Pretty easy, right? So if that thought comes into your mind, you don't say that. We are all magi, Mark. We're all creators. We're all magicians. And that's a ridiculous example, but you can take that ridiculousness and boil it down to reality. Just because a thought comes into your mind doesn't mean you need to say it. And you should always make sure that your brain is fully engaged before putting your mouth into gear, because it's creation. Every time you open your mouth, you're creating. Every time. That's why Paul hijacked the master's words. That's why the master said, take every thought under your own cognizant control, because you're creating with everything you say. And folks, some of you feel darkness, you feel heaviness, you feel shadow men, you feel spiritual oppression around you. It's not demons. It's not demons. It is the spiritual heaviness and darkness and muck that you create by running off at the mouth. Every time you say, why am I so fat? You've put more darkness and oppression into your life. Oh, I'm so fat. Does that come from mother or the mother effer? I'm so stupid. Does that come from mother or the mother effer? I'll never find love. Does that come from mother or the mother effer? Stop putting obstacles in your own path. Karma's only a bee if you are, Jay Madden. The quality of your life depends upon the quality of the words that come out of your mouth. And it's being shown to us right here in plain English. Every thought needs to be brought under our control because every thought is creation. Every single thought you have is a potential creation. It doesn't actually become a creation. Well, if you're thinking on it and you're brooding on it, it can be creative even before you speak it, right? And Power Vapor Supply says, so you should be asking yourself, how do I change this? It's easy how you change it. Get LifeTrack analysis with me and I'll help you change it. But it's easy how you change it. Good morning, Malia. Tremendous work that you're doing with Derek. Thank you so much. I feel a prophecy coming on that there'll be some creative work done between you and Derek and Sandra and I. That's a prophecy that you can write down. So that's why we're called to bring every thought under our control, because every thought is creative. So you have to decide, is it from mother? Is it from the mother effer? I know that's crude, it's crass, but you're going to remember that. And the ones that aren't from mother, you simply don't give vent to. They come in, you cast them out. You cannot keep a bird from flying over your head, but you can keep a bird from building a nest in your hair. Shoo, bird. Here comes the thought. Shoo, bird, get the bird out of your hair. And some of you, like Sandra, got big hair, so you can get big birds in there. Don't think of Sesame Street. You can't keep them from flying over your head, but you can keep them from building a nest in your hair. So when the thoughts come, is this mother or is this MF? If it's MF, you banish it. Gone. Over. Don't think about it. Don't ruminate on it. Don't talk about it. Same thing if you sleep more than 3 hours and you get dreams and they put thoughts in your mind. Don't think about them. Don't write them down. Don't ponder them. Get rid of them. They're MFs. And folks, this creative ability reminds you that you are divine. This creative ability reminds you that you're sovereign. This creative ability reminds you that you're free. Thoughts given utterance give us co-creativity with either the Father or the enemy. Boom, Malia, bam, that's good stuff. And that's so true. She puts it much nicer, the father or the enemy. I say the mother or the MFer, but you know, tomato, tomato. Words usher in the kingdom on earth. You will build your kingdom with your words, ladies and gentlemen. Your words will either be building blocks or wrecking balls to the life you want. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't like your world, you've built it. If you don't like your world, you've built it. You've built it. You want to know who to blame? Go look in the mirror. But that's good news. But because, oh, I built it. I feel so bad. I built it. I built my own world. I built my own. Don't feel that way. Think, that's great news. I built this. Because guess what? If you built it, you can tear it down and rebuild it. As easily as you built a world that doesn't serve you, you can build a world that does serve you. Ladies and gentlemen, last night I had to tear down a world that I had built in at least 55 years here, and I suspect that it's been built in other places and other times. You're spot on, Jay Madden. I can't repeat that live, but brother, you got it. And think about this, folks. Be encouraged. I've read the Bible I have 100,000 hours of study in the Bible. I got a Bible college degree. I was a preacher for 20 years. I've been doing this for now 18 years. And last night, because Derek Brose was obedient to the heavenly vision, because Derek Brose listened to the Father, and because for some reason the Father and the Mother care enough about me to give a specific message. And it wasn't just Derek, it's craziness. We've got messages coming in from multiple people. And I heard it, and I received it, and I hated it. Didn't like it at all. But, ladies and gentlemen, last night, I realized I had built a world that doesn't serve me and doesn't serve others, at least in one area of my life. And last night, we did a little demolition. We did a little deconstruction. And you know what? You don't even really have to do necessarily the demolition or the deconstruction, because you're the creator. I just went, snapped my fingers, and boom. The old creation was done, and the new creation was built. It's like Derek talking about tearing down temples. I tore down a temple. And I didn't even rebuild a temple, because now I was in a temple before. I was in a temple. I had built a temple. Men build temples. Flesh builds temples. Ego builds temples. But in the new order, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not giving complete genuineness to the whole book of Revelation, but in the new world, in the new way, in the new you don't need a temple built by hands. You don't need a temple built by hands. I tore down the temple built by hands. And now in my life, I don't need a temple, because the Master, the Father, the Mother are the light in my new world. And my new world has a castle. My new world has a queen. And my new world is a fairy tale world that doesn't have a wicked stepmother. And that doesn't and will end with happily ever after. And I really mean ever after. You're a creator. John told you that you're a creator. John told you to go back to the beginning. John told you that in the beginning was your mother. She gives you your thoughts. In the beginning is your Father. He gives voice to your thoughts. And do you see that? Everything is created by femininity. The sacred feminine is the source. And then Father comes in and does his part. And when you know yourself, you know which part of you to say no to. Our mother and father were there with us at the beginning. They're still here. They're still here to help us. We are the Father because the Father's in us. And if we've seen the Master, then we know that we've seen the Father and we are the Father. This shows us that every thought is creation, and we need to control all of our thoughts and direct them towards creation that is positive for us and positive for our folks. And then verse number 5 in this, John 1:1, I just want to conclude with that because it's very powerful. John 1:1, verse number 5. Excuse me, John 1, verse number 5. I want to show you before we leave. John 1, I said, verse number 5. And I'm still in John 14. Why is that? John 1, verse number 5. And the light shines in darkness, and the darkness comprehends it not. You're listening to Mother, and you're speaking in congruence with Father, is a light that shines out in darkness. And this dark world's not going to get it, and they're not going to get you. They're not going to understand it. And it's like when you shine a light at night, sometimes in Florida, you see roaches run. That's what happens sometimes when you shine the light of truth into the dark corners of orthodoxy. But you are a light shining in darkness, and the darkness isn't going to get it. So don't expect people to get you. Don't expect people to pat you on the back. Don't expect people to say, wow, that's really good. Expect people not to get it. But here's the real important part. Comprehend it not's not really a good translation. Even though we can take something from it, look what the real translation is. Look what the real translation is, 5. So you can also go this way. You can go verse by verse. So I know some of you want to study this. And the darkness, not only do they not comprehend it, because they don't comprehend it, they can't overcome it. The word really means to overtake. It doesn't matter how bad it looks, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter how scared you get. As long as you stay out of ego and stay in union with Father and Mother, the enemy can never take hold of you. The enemy can never overtake you. And the enemy will never be able to understand you. You never have to worry about the enemy arresting you, catching you, capturing you, overtaking you, because they can't perceive you and they can't comprehend you. They can't aggressively take you. They can't grasp you in a forceful manner. They cannot apprehend you. They cannot make you their own. As long as you stand in your divinity, as long as you stand in your sovereignty, as long as you stand in your freedom. I told you this isn't really Bible. I told you this isn't church. This is divine diamonds dropped on us by John in the last will and testament of the apostolic era. That, ladies and gentlemen, is good stuff. That's empowering stuff. Wow. 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 I'm going to take a quick survey through the comments. If you can't stay, I understand. To see if there's something there that I need to bring out. Pierce, I know that you think Sophia is. I don't agree with you, but you're very polite. Of course they haven't left. They're within us and they'll always be here. Your father and mother will always be here. Sandra's right. Thank you for that, sweetheart. Mark Center Saint says Jeff does this from love. That's the only reason I do it. There's no other reason for me to do it. And listen to Sandra. This is why I love this woman. This is why I'm going to spend the rest of my life here with this woman. And this is why I'm going to spend the rest of my existence with this woman. Because of things like this. Jeff doesn't do this. The divine does. Derek doesn't do what he does. The divine does. Sandra doesn't do what she does. The divine does. I don't do what I do. The divine does. And you know what? Our ego wants us to think sometimes that we are doing it. And that's why that little girl's in my life. To remind me that it ain't me. You're welcome, 71 Chevelle. Mother Earth is with us. And we are destroying her, and we need to stick up for Mother. Get him off my cloud. And I will get that shirt into the store today. Get off my cloud. We can all do better. I'm new to this channel, says Norma. It's really right on, and it's helped me tremendously. Thank you, Norma. Great to have you. Thank you for your commentary on my translation. It took me over 50 years to realize we're supposed to be sovereign and free. Well, thank the gods it didn't take 51, Bill. We can't depend upon man-made religions. Anger's no good. It's fear's bodyguard. I like it. We are all magi. We're all magicians. We're all creators. The power of the tongue is to hurt or heal, to build or destroy. Mark Center Saint. Bam, good stuff. Bingo, Jeff. I like it when people say, you just say bingo. Again, hello, Malia. Thanks for your contributions. All righty then. Jeff, you're powerful this morning. Your fast must be going really well. Thank you. It's not me, it's the Father. It's the divine. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Well, folks, that should help. If you want help along this walk, Sandra and I are here to assist you. serpentanddove.org, robreflections.org, jeffreydarty.com. We have the new channel, Serpent and Dove. It's in the box below. Please subscribe. And we'll be rolling out more new content. There's a lot of all of our Serpent and Dove content is going to be moved over there. So if you ever want to see any of the Serpent and Dove shows, by the end of today, they won't be available anywhere else. Not on Sandra's channel, not on my channel. They'll be available on only the Serpent and Dove channel. And Malia and Derek did just start the Red Letter Disciples as well. I encourage you to go and to subscribe to that channel as well. They're a little more biblical than Sandra and I are. And I remember Derek saying that he and Malia get to the same place by different paths. And I suspect that we all do the same thing. And I'm looking forward to some collaboration with those two. I'm looking forward to them continuing to bring very important messages through both Global Witness and Red Letter Disciples. And of course, Sandra's channel, Raw Reflections, is linked on my site as well. You want to go there and take advantage of her instruction, and that will always be there. That won't go away. This channel will always be here. It won't go away. Serpent and Dove will be there. It won't go away. We're trying to get as many lines in the water. Thank you, Seven Serpents. I saw that. We're trying to help as many people as possible. And Mark, we are grateful to be able to be of service to you, because that's really what it's all about. Ladies and gentlemen, you're creators. Create yourself. Build the life that you'll love. And I'll be back today with some more great broadcast excellence. I'm going to take a look at 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5, where Paul tells us exactly what the cabal's doing to us. They put it and spell it out completely, plainly. Tomorrow morning, I'll be on with Arwayne Steiger. Tomorrow night, we'll have Heidi Vandenberg on. On the 20th, we have Magenta Pixie. On Monday, we have Halo Marquise. We have Avery from Lois coming back on. We're going to have Derek back on. It's just one great thing after another happening. And Sandra and I have some content coming up you're not going to believe. Rocky Stucci and Sandra talking about overcoming addiction and the road to recovery. Just amazingly powerful stuff. We are just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. We are just getting started. And I'm telling you, thank you, Tracy. I'm loving you, loving this channel. We're just getting started. With the changes in my life that occurred yesterday, I'm back, baby, and I'm better than ever, because I know that I'm nothing. And I'm realizing that ego was still present, and it's going down. It's going down to Chinatown. And if I don't make sure it does, Sandra will. Sandra, I love you. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for your love. I think we're doing the most important work in the world. And there's no one else that can make it as effective as you can. And it's my honor and privilege to be able to have you by my side. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your instruction. And get ready, baby. We both have everything we've ever dreamed of coming our way. And right at the forefront is helping all these people. We do got it, baby. I love you. And all of you, the divinity in me recognizes the divinity in you. I salute you for being here seeking after truth. Unindoctrinate yourself. It is an inside job. And if you want some help, we can help you. We can show you. We can give you the tools to create yourself and build the life that you'll love. Until next time, much, much love. much peace, much joy. Remember, listen to your mother and father and make mama proud. Make daddy proud. Get to the spirituality of that, and it'll change your life. For Sandra D, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, wishing you nothing but the very best. And tomorrow, Sandra and I, after the Wayne show, the show with Wayne, so at 10 o'clock a.m. tomorrow, Eastern Time, Sandra and I are taking a vow of silence. We will be silent. I will personally be silent for 10 hours until I do the show with Jenny Moonstone. I won't be texting. I won't be emailing. I'll be in a vow of silence. So you won't hear any content from me after the Wayne show tomorrow. And Sandra and I are inviting any of you who would like to join us in this vow of silence to do so and to experience the profundity of it. Sandra's done it before, I never have, but I know somehow that deep within me, it's going to be a tremendously transformational experience, especially with what happened in my life last night. So tomorrow, after the Wayne Steiger show, Not Your Normal Sunday show, we will be taking a vow of silence. Please join us in connecting with the Father, in connecting with the Mother, and in connecting with our higher selves. It's going to be great. A new spiritual technology for me, a vow of silence. But I promise you, I'm taking a vow of non-silence today because we got a lot more broadcast excellence coming your way. Thank you, Steve. If anyone would like to join us, please do so. And for Sandra D, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. We love you, and we'll see you again later today.